So now we officially are beginning. I'm recording. So welcome Colin, Jody, Tyler, Cassidy, Hanson, Sarita, Aiden, and Matthew. And um, and we're gonna go ahead and get started here. I'm gonna hit share screen and bring up our screen. Just one second. Kaylee, your printout is on the desk. It's not in. I'll set it up for the teleprompter here after I'm done with my short Zoom. Okay. But you can look over the printout. Okay, yep, we're getting set up here for HCTV anchoring. Okay, so what's going on this week? Just kind of, this is the last Zoom of this week. Just to reiterate, buying the computer. This is actually much easier than it may look. I know I mentioned this briefly already, but I'm just going to say it again. Basically, this is all I'm looking for. Go to several sites. I recommend Dell's website, dell.com. And go to Apple's store online. You can do a Google search for that, Apple Store. Then when you get there to either one, or if you go to HP or you can go to Best Buy, there's a lot of places that sell computers. You can either click on an already configured package for a computer, or you can go through and configure one yourself. Like on the Apple one, you might click an iMac and then it comes up with 8 gig of RAM and you want to up to 16 gig of RAM. And they got some stuff you can make adjustments on. So for those of you into computers, you can have some fun doing some upgrades in that. Just don't actually buy it at the end unless you really want to buy it anyway. Because obviously I'm not asking you to purchase one. I'm asking you solely to pretend like you're shopping for one and see what information you can get. Now, some of you might go to a site like, let's say, Best Buy, and you find a pre-made package. There's an HP computer, and it comes with a certain monitor. It might be a laptop. It might be a desktop. And you can pick either one. Doesn't matter. But I want a regular computer. I don't want, obviously, like an iPad or something like that. And then see what comes with it, whether you configured it yourself or whether it's already a package. See if you can like put down what you can figure out, what's the name of it and the model number. That should be up here. Okay. The monitor at minimum, you should have some idea how big it is. Is it 14-inch, 15-inch, 24-inch, 12-inch? They come in all different sizes. If they're a laptop, they're typically about 12 to 16 inches. And if they're a desktop, it could be really big. It could be 27 inches or something, or 24 inches or whatever. You can also buy the parts separate. So if you want to buy the computer parts separate from the monitor, you can pick them out and just put it down. They might also mention if it's 1080p HD or IPS HD or 4K or something like that. For the CPU, that's going to be the main brains of the computer. A lot of computers use Intel, so it's common to see Intel Core, i5, i7, quad core, things like that. So you can find that. You can copy and paste too when you put this together. You don't have to necessarily type it all. And you can, some may be AMD processors. Apple now and some of the newer ones are using what they call their M1 processor. So put down whatever the processor is for that. Now, RAM doesn't always say RAM in the ad or when you configure it. Excuse me. It might say memory. It might say SDRAM, DDRAM. There's a few variations, but they're typically going to be 8 gig for a lot of computers. And then you can up it from there if you want to configure it. Some do ship with 12 or 16 on some of the nicer computers. But usually it's going to be 8, or unless you want to up it, you want to click in there, which you can do, and pick more. If you're seriously buying a computer nowadays, if you're just going to do word processing and surf the web, maybe 8 gig is enough. If you're going to be like me and get into video editing and audio and some more things, maybe some gaming and stuff, you're going to probably want more. You probably want to go at least 16 gigs. The hard drive might have like a terabyte or 500 gigs, depending on what kind of computer you're looking at. If it's a laptop, it could even be much smaller than that. Like you buy an Apple Air, whatever, what do they call that there? Well, either way, some of the lower end Apples, that might be as little as 128 gig. Same with some of the lesser expensive PCs, Windows computers. They might be 128, 256, 500 if it's a laptop. If it's not a laptop, like a desktop, you're probably going to be looking at more like a terabyte. Okay. And so just try to figure out what the hard drive is. Video card, sometimes there's no information. If you don't have an information, just put no information. But oftentimes, and they usually are by like NVIDIA, or I think AMD does video cards too. But for those into gaming, that's really big deal. You probably know about video cards, and a lot of people buy upgrades in video cards if they're into gaming. It's also good if you're going to do like video editing and shooting and things like that too. So see what you can find about the video card. Software, at minimum, put down the operating system. If it's a Mac, it is Mac OS. If it's a Windows, it probably got Windows 10, or you just put Windows OS would be fine. If there's any other software included you want to mention, feel free to do that. Some of them might include Office, Microsoft Office with it or whatnot. Processor speed. I'm not quite sure why I put this separate from CPU. Maybe it's because the one I happen to bring up here was separate. But you look around, typically it could be like 1.6 gigahertz. It could be like down here, 4.2 gigahertz. It depends on the price range of the computer. If it's a lower price range, you're probably looking at more like this. If it's a higher price range, you're probably looking at something more like this. Okay. You can see 3 examples here I did. Okay. And then I also have you answer a couple of questions about each. What do you like best? Like, what do you like about that computer? Like whoever did this one here I did a sample. They put like, I like the graphics. What would I like improved? And I could put down like, I would like more RAM in a video card. Okay. So that's it. Just look up 3, a couple different models, a couple different price ranges, and that's it. You put it on, and it's pretty easy assignment. Now, what else do we got going on here? Excuse me. Okay. What streaming means for the future. That's just a TED Talk. There's a little assignment to go with it. Not hard at all. So make sure you do that. Now, the big thing this week is the test. Now, on one level, it's extremely easy. It doesn't get any easier. On another level, some people are like, what do I do, Mr. Rio? Well, if you click here and open the tutorial, it's going to tell you what to do. You're going to start with what to do. It's going to take you through how to open up Microsoft Word. We're using the online version. The version I told you not to use all semester? We're going to use that. And the reason is simple. I went to do a tutorial. I borrowed a Windows computer from the library. I went to do a tutorial in Word for Windows because it looks a tiny bit different than the Mac version. And unfortunately, like the second I tried to use it, the battery was dead. They don't have any chargers to loan out. And Miss Rosalind wasn't going to be around for a couple of days. So I thought, okay, what can we do in the online version? So I went and looked it over, and I haven't been there for a while. And I clicked around the menus, and I realized we can do almost everything I want to do there. So I thought in the past years, I'd done a review and covering a lot of the skills I wanted you to know and make sure you know them. And then we do the test. And I thought, why do both? We'll just do one. We'll do the review and the test in one assignment. So if you click on this tutorial here, it's about an hour long. You just click that. It wasn't working. And they do not have chargers. Yep. Yep. You probably, I don't know if you probably can't hear that, but either way, I'm just going to show you this here. What kind of things do I talk about? I take you through the steps on how to get to the online version of Word. You have to open up you actually use it. You don't have to you open up a document in the online version of Word. By default, it saves to your OneDrive, which is okay. Nothing wrong with that. And then near the end, I share a little bit about how you can get a copy of it to like your desktop so you can put it into Google Classroom submit it to Google Classroom. Now, what do I do in this review/test? I literally just take you through 10 things that you make. It's all really easy stuff. Actually, we only type up, other than some of these sentences in that, we only type up one paragraph here that we will copy and paste numerous times to to do some stuff. So I'll take you through the steps. It's actually really, really easy and, you know, not too bad. So I'm going to close out of that video I had opened. I don't know, you probably didn't see it, but that is the test. Now, what is this right here, Mr. Rio? This is a sample. Okay. So what we're going to make is here, but it's not as simple as looking at the sample and saying, "Oh, I just got to type that." No, it's all about the skills. Okay. You're not going to be able to do this sample properly without going through the skills. So just follow me. We do 10 things one at a time. When we get here, you might say, "Mr. Real, there's all those paragraphs." We only type one and then we copy and paste the rest. Then we format them all separately. Now you got some other things we're going to make and do. You're going to need to insert a picture. You can use a picture of your choice, as long as it's school appropriate. You're going to put in a table. A header and footer can go in that. There's an area at the top and the bottom of the page called the header and the footer you're going to learn about. There's a way you can add page numbers. We're going to use something called Format Painter, one of the most useful skills in Microsoft Word. And here's something that I use Format Painter on. So it's going to be all about the skills. So it's worth a lot of points, 100 points, 10 points each. Now you can sit down for probably an hour or whatever and do the whole thing in one sitting. Not hard. If for some reason you want to sit, maybe do 5 of them or 4 of them first, and then come back the next day and do a couple more, you can do that. Just do it. I did give you a little extension. You do it over the weekend. Okay, so you do it today, tomorrow, any day you can do it. You don't have to wait for anything else to get posted. It's all here. Okay. So, get that done. Now, some of the things down here might say, Mr. Rio, you mentioned them, but you didn't do anything there. Well, you can't do this stuff here. You can't do header and footer here. You have to look into the header and the footer, see what goes there. You can't really do page numbers here. You can, but you don't have to. You're going to actually, there's a page number right there. See that? So you're just going to insert that. And then the format painter we use down here, and I'll explain that when we get more into this. Okay, so that is the test. It's like basically just a review document you do with me, and we call it a test. And that's going to wrap up Microsoft Word. Then we'll be done with Word. Okay, and then part of my tutorial, I take you through the menus. I take you through we're using the online version, which has more than I thought. I dug around in there. I did find the paragraph dialog box and some things I wasn't sure was there. So you are able to do just about everything the same. But we did it there just because not everyone at the moment can get the full version of Word working. And I couldn't get to the Windows version. So not a big deal. That's it. It's going to be fairly easy. Now, when you go through my video I made for that, you can pause it, stop it, rewind it anytime you want or need to. So that's the other nice thing about that. Next week, we'll get into some new stuff. We'll be doing PowerPoint and some other things coming up. Okay, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to stop sharing my classroom there. I don't know if anybody's got any questions or problems or anything. If you do, you can ask here or ask in the chat. If not, that's about it. It's 2:15, and it's about all it takes today to tell you what to do. No questions? I don't see any. Okay. Everyone take care. Have a great day. And you guys are online, so it doesn't apply to you, but we're not going to go to the 4-day thing next week. That's been postponed for 2 weeks. Don't forget, check your email for HCTVs. Make sure you watch those every week. You can go back and watch the old ones too. Otherwise, you don't really know what's going on around here that much. And so you guys have a great day. Have a great weekend. And I will see you. Okay, take care.